We're thundering towards the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship, our 5th round of 7 for 2025 for Mission King of the Baggers at a Permco MotoAmerica Superbikes at Mid-Ohio weekend from Lexington, Ohio at the famed Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, the championship hasn't changed much in Mission King of the Baggers, but yesterday, finally, Hayden Gillum able to win a race this year.
Yeah, after that heartbreak and half lap left in that race at Laguna Seca, to see Hayden have to pull his Vance and Hines Harley off and not get the win was frustrating for him. But you see here, he's going to go up the inside of Troy Herfoss into turn 2. Herfoss got a great start yesterday. At this point, it looked like Gillum was going to pull away. Herfoss was having none of that and would draw back into him and be close at the finish. Hayden Gillum finally wins a race, Greg.
He certainly does. It has been a while for Hayden Gillum. This is how long? Since July 14th, 2024. Remember, he was your national champion reigning last year, so it's been 15 races for him, but 44th career. Boy, Hayden's been around a while, and his winning will continue. But everybody's got to contend with this Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. It's very technical and a lot of elevation.
Such a favorite, Greg. It's a short run down to turn 1, up through those turn 2 and 3 S's. Keyhole out of there, you're going to rip down to turn 6. A lot of passing down there. Little single file, but very flowing all the way to turn 14. You can make some passes, and then it's a short run out of turn 15 to the checkered flag.
All right, so Mid-Ohio awaits these Mission King of the Baggers, and this guy right here, your number 1 plate, he wants a win, another one. Can he get it done? Stay with us.
We heard from Troy Herfoss on the grid with Michael Hill, and we can see him there now as well, Rog, and nice and relaxed down there, and knows that there's a good opportunity to get himself into the mix for another race win this season.
Yeah, and all these riders, you can see just how intense it is going into this second race, especially as the championship starts to wind down as well. Troy, I think, got to follow Hayden yesterday, and I think he got to learn a couple things, and it's going to be interesting to see. That was a big crash Hayden Gillum had this morning. If that Vance and Hines Harley team is able to get that bike back exactly the way it was before the crash.
Yeah, big crash for the bike, at least for Hayden, not as big of a crash, and he was able to come back from that. And obviously we've seen him in the Superbike race, able to come away with a top 5 finish, so we know that he's feeling comfortable and confident out there on the track. But like you said, Rog, after a big incident like that, a lot of work for the team to do. And that means that deciding lap to the grid becomes really important for him as well. You're able to use that as a little bit of a benchmark to see how the bike feels underneath you as well. So we'll keep an eye on the number 69 as he makes his way around this 2.4 mile circuit. And you can see there for Hayden, slow enough off the line, just giving himself that chance to fall to the back of the pack.
It's kind of what he does even before every race, kind of slows down and kind of goes toward the back of the grid. And not exactly sure why. Maybe, once his tire's warm when he gets there, or some riders don't like to come around and set very long because then they start getting a little bit nervous.
Yeah, it is one of those situations that the longer you sit on the grid as well, the temperature goes up, and particularly with these baggers bikes, for a 9-lap race in the heat, it's always a bit of a struggle for them as well to have to deal with those conditions, and conditions have changed quite a bit over the course today. For the morning warm-up session, Rog, very cool temperatures out there compared to what we've had for the rest of the weekend.
And I think for the riders and stuff, they're going to go to the Dunlop engineers and maybe ask what's been the trend in the other classes.
Yeah, and we'll go back to Greg White and Jason Pridmore with Jamie Howe in the pits to call the action for this 9 laps of baggers.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles. By NXT Bets, play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sports books and DFS platforms all season long. And by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories.
Starting grid for Mission King of the Baggers here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for race number 2. Hayden Gillum, Herfoss, and Landers.
And then we're going to have James Rispoli, Kyle Wyman, and Cam Peterson. Good to see Cam a little bit closer on that thing this week. Baz O'Hara, Wyman, Corey West, and Max Flinders are going to round out our grid. A lot of stories here, Greg. Hayden Gillum coming from a big morning warm-up crash. That team had to go hard to work. That bike flipped probably 15 times. So Hayden Gillum, we'll see if he can get a good start here. He's going to be feeling this bike out as we're ready to go.
9 laps, and we're away in race number 2. Let's see who's going to bend it in turn number 1. It's going to be Herfoss on the number 1. He's going to lead again. So on the S&S Indian Motorcycle Challenger, it's going to be the Australian who leads us into turn number 2 and 3. And Hayden Gillum, though, right on his tailpipe.
Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh! I could see that coming from a long way back. Now we've got to be careful that we don't. That's Campy, I think, right there, or one of them, because you don't want to get back on the track. As you can see, that's going to definitely have been a distraction. You saw Troy Herfoss kind of look over to the right. Gillum now in the draft of the Factory Indian. Let's see, this is our field now. As Gillum's going to make that pass on Herfoss. I see Baz. I see Cam Peterson in 4th. I got it. It's the number. Well, we hear
so Travis Wyman and Rocco Landers.
Yeah. And 97 and 10. Yeah. So I'm trying to see other Factory Harleys here. Where's Kyle? Kyle's there.
Yeah, right.
Kyle's a little bit further back, and Rispoli's going to be behind him. Okay, so wow, that's a little too much drama for the start. And you can see, look at how all the Indians. We'll get into this as we go. Let's have a look at what happens here, Greg, because going to have to look a little further back in our shot.
Is it when they
trying to see
they bend it back over?
It's Rocco.
What?
Rocco loses the front, and then no, Rocco didn't lose the front. Sorry, it's hard for me to tell who's who there, so I don't want to put any blame on anybody. Somebody loses the front right there and then takes somebody with them.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And for sure, I don't want to mix that up, but you can see, I think it's Cam Peterson that ends up running across the grass. I'm not sure.
It's like they maybe hit the grass. Oh, that was Travis Wyman. So it was the number 10. And it looked like maybe he definitely lost the front. I don't know if he maybe hit the grass and then hit Rocco.
Yeah, he got into Rocco.
Oh, man. They're both up in OKs from what we hear.
And there's where they're both B. So there's a bike in the car. All right, so let's get back to it here. Gillum is trying to stretch it out over, I believe it's going to be Herfoss. You see Baz and Cam Peterson going for 3rd here. Cam sliding underneath him. Wyman in 5th. Man, it's a lot of action to get started. And for Kyle Wyman, he was so close to being involved in that.
All right, so Cameron Peterson on the 45. On the SDI Racing Indian Challenger takes over 3rd spot. So up the road a bit is Hayden Gillum with a small gap to Troy Herfoss, and then this entire gaggle of 5 riders getting after it for the final spot on the podium. And welcome the arrival of Cameron Peterson to Mission King of the Baggers Racing. And he is looking good right now, leading this pack with about 7.5 laps to go.
So you saw this yesterday where basically Hayden Gillum, and what a job by the Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson team, that Revzilla team down there, putting this motorcycle back together, the 69 here, and for him to have the confidence to just go do that. As you see, Kyle Wyman now is going to slide his way up underneath Loris Baz for that 4th spot, and he'll start going after Cam Peterson.
So Hayden Gillum, a 128.114, as we welcome the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Jamie Howe, to the mix.
Well, you talked about the fact that in the morning warm-up, Hayden Gillum had that huge accident, and really there wasn't a whole lot that was salvageable from the bike that he raced to victory yesterday. So that Revzilla Vance and Hines team, they went to work to rebuild a new one to even make it out here for this race. And I talked to him right after that siding lap, and he said the bike feels okay, but one of the things that was not able to transfer from bike to bike was the seat that he's been riding all season long. The one that's on right now, it's not as comfortable. It sits a little bit further back, but he said, listen, it's 9 laps after the thrash job that the team did to get him a bike out there. He said, I can definitely learn to ride this one.
Yeah, and he's definitely getting that done right now, as his lead is about half a second. Up front is the 69 over the number 1 of Herfoss. And Cameron Peterson, Loris Baz, Kyle Wyman, O'Hara in the mix. So an interesting start to this race, but here comes Troy Herfoss. He's trying to close that 0.6 of a second gap. And you can see how hard the number 1 is riding.
So I had a long talk with Troy Herfoss, and some of the things that we saw yesterday, Greg, basically what Troy's got to do to get this bike to work the way he wants it to is let off the brakes. And he says, yeah, I know I'm going to run wide in some of the spots. He watched our telecast back last night. He says, I know I'm going to run wide, but the only way I can get this bike to do what I need it to do is I got to let the lever off, let it just roll, and then I get on the gas kind of late getting off the turns. You can see him lighten the thing up, but the lap time is getting produced in a way that he has had to kind of build his way into. He says right now he kind of feels like when he follows the Harleys, they just turn a little bit better. They do a couple things maybe a little bit better mid-corner.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Wow, Kyle.
Wyman.
Nice save.
Yeah, really good save from Kyle there. He has a look over his shoulder and sees a big 29 there of Tyler O'Hara. As you see a little further back, Rispoli and Baz are going head-to-head down that back straightaway now as they get ready to break down into 6. Rispoli will take that spot. So, yeah, so Greg, what Herfoss is doing by producing a lap time is a little bit different than maybe what would make him more comfortable.
By the way, play MotoAmerica for cash. The Superbike, Baggers, and Supersport Series are now live on top sportbooks and DFS platforms. Scan the flow code or visit nxtbets.com/playma to see what's available in your location. Sign up, claim exclusive bonuses, and make your picks now. All right, so that was a huge moment, though, for Kyle Wyman, and he's going to try to gather it back up here and get back to chipping away at Cameron Peterson. Boy, for the SDI Racing team, the Indian Challenger team, they have really had an up-and-down season for sure. A podium would pay, dividends for this team, especially on the psychological front, as Cameron Peterson riding his heart out, but here comes the 33, another look at it.
Look at the bag. Is the bag kind of what... I mean, he's got the thing. Look at the front. You see the mark? So he just had completely lost the front.
Yeah, that bag's okay.
And I thought maybe he got the thing onto the bag there. A lot of lean angle from Kyle as he went down through the keyhole. And it kind of goes, if you look at this keyhole, it goes up and then down. And then right in the middle of it, that's where he had lost it. Rispoli's now closed up onto the back of these guys. Let's see if Wyman tries to do anything with Cam Peterson at the end of this back straightaway. To your point, for Cam Peterson, he looks back, sees 3 of these guys right behind him. And for Tyler O'Hara, I mean, there's another guy in our paddock who's always so positive. Greg, talked to him a little bit today. And look, he's going to take a shot at going by both of them.
Oh, where's O'Hara going?
O'Hara looked like he was going to go by both of them there as we get another shot of our 2 guys at the front.
Yeah, that got really close up front and thought there was going to be a pass, but O'Hara pulls it off.
Wow, what a great pass from Tyler O'Hara there.
Bike's all sideways, laying down Dunlop rubber all over the racetrack. So Cameron Peterson off the back straightaway loses 2 positions, all the while up front. Troy Herfoss goes fastest stop of the race so far, chasing Hayden Gillum at a 25.017.
28, I think it
28,
is. Yeah.
Sorry, 28.
25 would be riding Superbikes.
Yeah, that would be doing that. 28.017. Jamie, what do you have on Troy?
Remember, he was able to finish on the podium yesterday, and Jason, you talked about all of the things that he knew he needed to be able to get it back into contention to go for a race win. And one of the things that he had to say out on the grid was that after the warm-up and after everything that they learned in racing yesterday, for the first time in several rounds, he's going into the race without thinking of something that would potentially cause him to lose it. He said he feels all of the pressure on his shoulders right now, so he just got to put his head down and go for it.
Yeah, that's what he'll do, and I definitely wouldn't want to inspire Troy Herfoss behind me as Greg, it looks like he's just got things a little bit more under control than yesterday. If you remember, there was a bigger gap as Gillum looks over his shoulder. Kyle Wyman's made the pass back on Tyler O'Hara. As you can see now, these guys are going to try to chase down the 33 down the back straightaway. Look at this. O'Hara goes and slides, Troy Herfoss slides his way up underneath Hayden Gillum. Gillum now has got to go back to work, but for Troy Herfoss, he just finds ways of riding around certain problems, adjusts his riding style to it, and then finds the strengths that he can take advantage of. And I'll tell you, as a rider and watching what he does, it's super impressive from my standpoint to see how a guy can just adjust things. And you look at it, Greg, these guys are almost 5 seconds out in front of the next group. So Herfoss doing a really good job here, and Gillum's got to go to school now.
Yeah, Gillum, of course, riding a new motorcycle for him. Doesn't have the seat that he wants, and that might be that little bit of a couple hundredths of a second off from what he has had all weekend long. But Herfoss riding a well-developed machine, and they continue, does the S&S Indian motorcycle team, to chip away at this motorcycle to make it as comfortable as possible. And these lap times, they're ripping these 28 flats. So 28.3 for Herfoss when he run around Gillum. Gillum has dropped off that 0.8 of a second on that lap, and now Herfoss a little bit wide, but he's going to try to pull it back. But he also knows I got to give him some room. Whoa, that got really tight on the exit.
But did you see Gillum? He kind of knew that Troy was in there a bit deep. Obviously there's a big respect there, because if you try to turn that bike back underneath too tight, you can lose the front. So Hayden probably didn't want to do that. He knew Herfoss was going to be coming back down and gave him a little bit of room, and now he's going to be able to go back to school again or back to work trying to figure out where he might be able to do something with Troy in the next 2.5 laps.
Jason, do you find that it's easier in a way to follow at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, especially some of these up and down and tighter sections?
Sometimes.
Because we see like this accordion effect that happens in this racing like this.
The hardest part about that, though, Greg, is you start kind of getting in the rut. Like, see the difference in lines on the exit there, how much wider Troy's going. But the problem is you can sometimes get into a little bit of a rut, so you race down to the position that the person you're in front of. Obviously, in this case, these guys are battling for a win, so there's no racing down. But what I'm saying by that is it's easy to just kind of get stale and sit there. You've got to try to be able to find spots. Now, if that would have been the last lap, I think Hayden might have tried to go up underneath Troy, but he looks pretty comfortable sitting there right now. 28.9, 28.7, 28.5, and 28.6 for O'Hara and Cam Peterson behind. They're actually a little bit quicker than the leaders that time through. But Gillam's just kind of maybe sitting there. You know the shot that he's going to have to take is going to be probably the end of the back straightaway.
And I just feel like the Revzilla Motul, Vance and Hines, Harley Davidson, that's a road glide of Hayden Gillam. It feels like the last couple of races, they've really made a step. If you look at top speeds down the back straightaway for both the Indian Challenger and this Privateer Revzilla Motul, Vance and Hines, Harley Davidson, they were identical speeds last time by.
Well, I really think that the Vance and Hines team went to work really hard after Daytona, because when we showed up at Road America, I noticed that the speeds of the Vance and Hines Revzilla Harley Davidson had improved substantially. So the good news is that, you know, Terry knows and his team knows that they've got two really good riders on their bikes, and they want to give them the tools to be able to fight with the factory Indians and the factory Harley teams, much like we're seeing Hayden Gillam do right now.
Lap and a half to go in this race. Mission King of the Baggers, race number 2. And Troy Herfoss continues to look behind in that section. It's almost like he feels like he gets a super good drive down there and wants to see what he's able to do.
While broad sliding, by the way.
Yeah,
I think sideways, and he's looking over his shoulder. So, yeah, so you can see here, these guys get in so tight, their knees are kind of over the grass on the entry to this last corner. We got white flag coming up, Greg. So now it's like, look at Gillam. He's got a great run here as they go down turn 1. Looked like Troy was kind of going to block that turn 1 pass. So now it's a matter of where is Gillam going to try to get this pass done, because he would love nothing more than to deliver this bike back to his team. Is he going to get him into turn 2? He is. Gillam with a big move into turn 2 to take this lead.
So Hayden Gillam, that's been a favorite spot of his all weekend in both the classes that he races, able to get it done. Now the big drag race down the back straightaway. And if you can come out of turn 6 in the lead, you have a really good chance of holding some tight lines. But here comes Herfoss. Both of them spin coming out of the corner, and it looks like Herfoss has a good draft and pass. Now the braking duel, what's going to happen? Both go inside. Look at Hayden Gillam going sideways, dirt track style, and Herfoss.
Mistake from Hayden Gillam. Look at him dirt tracking it through there, Greg. He's got to be careful when he gets up to this grass. There's other guys coming. So Troy Herfoss again. Oh, does Troy have a problem?
No.
I hope he doesn't, because did he get in a little bit wide? Because it looked like something had happened. I hope that I was just, hope I didn't see something there. There he is. Okay, he's good now. Maybe he just got into turn 8 just a little bit too deep. But now he doesn't realize probably. Yeah, he does. Now he realizes it. But again, I mean, it just drew Hayden in there a little bit quicker than he needed to be. Now, what does this do for second and third? Who is it? It's going to be Kyle Wyman. And how about Tyler O'Hara? Really good if he can just get through these last corners for Tyler.
So Troy Herfoss, your reigning champion, has had a good run these last half of the season. He comes onto the front straightaway, wheel in the air, and will take victory over Kyle Wyman, Tyler O'Hara, and Cameron Peterson, Rispoli, and Hayden Gillam. Good save, dirt track style.
Oh my gosh.
He just pinned it. He pinned it through the gravel trap. Hayden Gillam to finish 6th with Troy Herfoss positioning on the racetrack, and those two fought it out, didn't want to give up position. And my, oh my, does turn 6 give you drama, give you heart palpitations here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course through the years. Here it goes again.
Yeah, here it is. So Troy gets the pass done. Hayden's like just wanting to refuse it. Just barely gets that bag past the front handlebar of Herfoss. Herfoss looks back. Hayden's just gunning it. He's just going for it through the dirt and into the grass, trying to get that bike turned. There's the next chasing pack. So for Indian, a huge win for Troy Herfoss. For Tyler O'Hara, welcome back to the podium. Nice to see the 29 going to make another appearance there. And this one was a lot more earned. We heard him make the podium earlier in the year. Felt like it had been given to him a little bit. And here's the two guys that just got close down there before. They got close there again.
They certainly did. So Herfoss, Wyman, and O'Hara are going to be on the podium. We can't wait to talk to Troy to find out what happened down there in turn number 6. He did a good job of evading disaster and taking home the victory.
Troy Herfoss able to take his second win of the King of the Baggers season, but Raj, turn 6 has been the story of the weekend across all the classes.
Yeah, and you can just see we talked this weekend about this track being a little bit tough to pass. That's why both riders were trying so hard to make sure they led out of turn 6. From there, it's going to be difficult to make a pass, and you can't blame Hayden. He did what he needed to do. He let off the brakes and was trying to go for the win. It cost him a couple spots, but for him at this point in the season, I think it's win or nothing.
And obviously at this stage as well, 73 points is the margin now for Kyle Wyman back to Troy Herfoss in the championship standings. And the opportunity in race 1 for Wyman to win the championship, he needs a 75-point advantage. If he wins the race, he guarantees that championship. Yeah. But he'll be racing to get it across the line in race 1 at Coda.
For Kyle, he struggled this weekend, and he's turned those struggles into a third and then now a second. And that's what championship riders do. On your tough weekends, you still end up on the podium. Had a crash this morning in the warm-up. Comes out this race and has his best day of the weekend.
Yeah, he's only given up 3 points of his championship lead on a tough weekend, and we saw across the other classes as well, Raj, just what we can expect at the next round at Coda on September 12th to 14th. That the Superbike class, it's all going right down to the wire. Bobby Fong leading that championship.
Yeah, it's Super Sport as well. Another one that changed the points lead a couple times this weekend. Looking forward to see that as it starts to wind down.
Yeah, and obviously for the Hooligans class, that's in the books now at this stage. James Rispoli able to wrap up his championship, and a great end of the season in that class.
Great. Some of the best racing all year was in that Hooligan class. It's been a great addition, and it's great to see so many manufacturers in that class.
We'll be back in action in 4 weeks' time at Coda on September 12th to 14th. But to bring us to a close here at Mid-Ohio, Greg White, Jason Pridmore and Jamie Howe down in the podium area as well to get the thoughts of our top 3 here from the Mission King of the Baggers class.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps. By Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series. By Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles. By NXT Bets, play MotoAmerica for cash. Multiple race classes live on top sports books and DFS platforms all season long. And by Permco, a leading manufacturer of high-pressure hydraulic gear, vane pumps and motors, flow dividers, intensifiers, and accessories.
Celebrations for the S&S Indian Motorcycles Factory team. And boy, earlier that billboard, those kids playing, that looked like turn 6 here at Mid-Ohio. But yeah, big one for the team, having 2 riders on the podium. And here's a look at those results. So Herfoss with a half-a-second victory over Kyle Wyman, O'Hara, and Cameron Peterson in 4th, with Rispoli and Hayden Gillum able to hold on to 6th. Let's get right down to Jamie.
For Troy Herfoss getting a second win on the season. You set it out on the grid. You couldn't think of a reason that you couldn't go out and win this one. You adjusted your riding style. Take us through that pass there right at the end of the race.
Yeah, and just to clarify, that's not like an overconfidence thing. It's just that we had such a good race yesterday. We knew exactly what we were doing with the bike this morning, and it didn't work. But it sort of helped in a way. And yeah, we started the race with every chance to win it. And man, it's so much fun racing, like, especially with Hayden. Like, I gave him no room into turn 2 or 3 or whatever it is, and he still put a bagger through there. Like, how does that happen? I'd hate to ride him on a superbike. Yeah, so much fun, so good to be here. A few guys I've missed yesterday: Progressive, Parts Unlimited, Drag Specialties, Mission Foods. I'm sorry for yesterday. It's been a while since I've been on the podium like this, but big thank you to S&S and Indian Motorcycles. Just such a big help. Charlie. All my guys, it's just, I don't know, I could talk forever because these wins don't come as much anymore, but yeah, just really enjoyed it.
Congratulations, Troy. For Kyle Wyman, he was encouraged by the morning warm-up, being able to put those laps together and ultimately able to move yourself further ahead on the podium, and now a 93-point championship advantage with only 100 points remaining to go for this title fight. For you going forward now, what needs to be the focus?
Just keep doing what we're doing. You know, we still, yeah, we're going to beat ourselves up a little bit on this weekend because we need to be better on Friday. We need to qualify better. I had the pace to go with the guys today, but I just absolutely botched the start and nearly ran off in turn 2 on that first lap, and I felt like it was going to be a long race. But, you know, made the most of it, had a lot of fun, you know, battling with some guys and making some passes. It's probably the most passes I've had to make in one of these races. So, yeah, pretty proud of a second place after that start and how we started this whole weekend. So, Dyno Jet, Harley-Davidson Factory Racing Team, can't thank those guys enough. Mission Foods, Rockford Fosgate, Kropovich, Brembo, all the partners, 60 and Alpine Stars Leathers. Airbag went off this morning. I had my first crash of the year and it was a doozy, but these guys protect me all the time. And yeah, congratulations to these guys. Let's go Dakota.
Able to pick it up and go for another podium on the season. For Tyler O'Hara, I think everyone down here in Victory Lane could hear him screaming under the helmet when you made your way over here. We've heard it already. These podiums, these celebrations, you don't get to do it all the time. You had to work for this one. How did this race unfold for you?
Yeah, yesterday we got our butts kicked and we took it on the chin, and my whole SNS Cycle Indian Motorcycle Factory teams they work relentless. They believe in me. They give me the tools that I need to be up here every weekend. And hats off to Troy. He's been riding amazing. My whole crew, Al, Dan, Carl, Gary, all the engineers, Dean, everybody on my whole team, I couldn't do without you. My support system at home, my trainer, Alden Baker, man, he's been pushing me. All you fans, thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. It's, you know, Mission Foods, Drag Specialties, Parts Unlimited, Progressive, everybody that supports us, thank you so much.
Cowboyed your way through. Congratulations.
Championship standings for Mission King of the Baggers, Kyle Wyman, 222 points, so 73 ahead of Troy Herfoss, who now takes over third place over Laura Spaz. O'Hara in fourth, so Kyle with a pretty healthy lead as we peel off into the next couple of race weekends, which of course we have Mission King of the Baggers. This thing, we go to Coda, Jay, it's going to be exciting, but there's a lot of straightaways there too, so it's going to be really interesting to see who's got the horsepower there.
Yeah, and the Indian for sure there with Troy Herfoss. He's going to be hungry now. He's got a little momentum after this weekend, and he's going to want to try to get some more wins for Indian there.
So Celebration's getting ready to get after it as we have 2 more races at Circuit of the Americas, and then you can see September 12th through the 14th. And then don't forget, a couple weeks after that is going to be the finals at New Jersey Motorsports Park. You definitely want to book your flights, get your hotels, and get to Austin, Texas. There's a lot of potential that this championship could wrap up in Texas. We hope it moves on to the final round, of course, in New Jersey. But this guy, Troy Herfoss, takes the win to the field, and he is excited to have a couple of weeks off. Well, that was Mission King of the Baggers, race number 2. Championship's looking good for Kyle. We'll see you next time.